Hey, good morning everyone. Before we get started here, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit the bell icon if you want to be notified anytime we upload anything that's saddle hunting related. And hopefully you like the video. If you do, give us a like. Just this week we uploaded a couple of different videos showing SRT climbing, and we had quite a few questions from guys that didn't understand how we get our rope out of the tree when we have the line canopy hitched up in the tree for SRT climbing. So just a quick explanation: when you're SRT climbing, unlike DRT climbing, you'd have your rope up over a limb and both sides of the rope move and both sides are working. With SRT climbing, there's just going to be one single side of the rope that's a working side of the rope that you're going to be climbing on. And there's a couple of different things that you can do to set your line in the tree. In the arborist industry, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll put a base hitch where they'll tie the one end of the rope. They'll wrap it around the base of the tree a couple of times. They'll put a really good strong knot down there holding it in, and they'll climb on the other end of the line. And the reason sometimes they'll do that is because it's helpful in an arborist situation. You know, it's kind of dangerous working in the arborist industry. Guys could potentially get injured when they're in the tree. And one of the good things about having a base tie like that is they can, the ground guy could untie the guy from the base of the tree and lower him down if he were to get hurt. So that's probably one of the reasons that they do that. Also, you know, I mean, for us, when I'm using SRT, I typically will put what's called a canopy hitch. So I'm basically tied off in the canopy of the tree around a limb, or even around the girth of the tree, but up over a limb, and then, you know, it's tied up there. But to do that, what you're going to need to do is that you're going to have to put a good strong loop with a good knot that's going to hold and run the other line through that loop. You pull your rope up, and then now you're canopy hitched. And then the question I was getting was, how do I get that line back out? You know, so once you pull it up tight, you got the rope on it. When you're down on the bottom, there's no way to get it out, right? So there's two different ways you can do it. One, you can take a piece of paracord and tie it on the end of your loop. I like to do that because what'll happen is I'll tie a good knot here, and I'll leave the loop. I run it through the rope, and then I pull it up. And when I have that piece of paracord on the end of this, once this is all the way, you know, around the girth up there of the tree, girth hitched around the limb or whatever, nice and tight, I'll have two lines hanging down. I'll have the one main line that I'm going to climb on, and then I'll also have the piece of paracord. So I'll use the one main line that's hanging down once I'm up to height to tie it around my pack, because my pack is usually heavier, and with this heavier rope, it's easier on my hands to pull my pack up into the tree. And then with the paracord, I'll tie off my bow and pull my bow up with that. So it kind of works nice where you're going to have two lines down anyway. It makes it nice just to get your gear up into the tree. But, you know, to do that, you're going to have to tie a good loop in the end of this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my camera up over here on the table, just so I think you'll be able to see a little bit better how I tie the knot in here. Just bear with me. Okay, let's see here. All right, so what I'm going to tie how I tie the loop on the end here, and you guys can do research on this. I would look into some of these, accredited climbing organizations. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube on how to do this. So, I'm not an instructor. I'm showing you how I do this, and I think I'm doing it right, but you know, you guys can do your own research and find out how to do it from some others. But to tie an Alpine butterfly, and I like using the Alpine butterfly, whether because it's a nice, good, strong knot that can be used midline in in your system, or you can use it towards the end of your system. I like to use it on the end, or I like to use it on either end, but I'll show you how I do it here. So to tie an Alpine butterfly, you take the rope and you're going to wrap it around your hand 3 times. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And then what you do is you take your hand and you're going to reach in, grab the center one, and you're going to pull on that. You want to pull on that about as long as you want that loop to be. Okay? And then take that end of the loop, and then bring it around this side, and then pull it through. Pull it through like this. And then you want to kind of dress up the knot. Like that. Alright, and as I understand it, when your knot is tied properly, you should have 2 parallel lines like this, and then you should have on the back side of it, they should be crossing one another like that. That's the way I learned to do it. You guys can do your own research and see if I'm doing it improperly, but that's the way I learned to do it. It's been working for me, but like I said, I'm not an instructor. This is just for information how I do it. And then what I'd like to do is on this tag end of the rope, I always like to throw in an additional safety knot so that it can't, for any reason, pull through. Just gives you a little bit of insurance. Okay, so now that I have this knot like that, since I'm using it on the end, what I would end up doing is also taking a piece of paracord. I usually take a piece of paracord and I'll wrap that. And you don't want to forget to put your paracord in when you're down on the bottom, because otherwise you'd have to climb back up and do it up at the top of the tree up high. So it's always just a little bit easier to do it when you're down at the base of the tree. So now the other thing I like to do is I'll basically tie this to the end here, and I always like to use a good strong knot in this too, just because I don't want it to pull out when I'm down at the base of the tree and then have to climb the tree. So I tie basically a bowline knot. I like bowline knots. So to tie a bowline knot, I'll show you how to do it. You basically make a loop in your rope or your paracord, whatever you're using, and then to tie it, the thing that they'll say all the time is the rabbit comes out of the hole, comes around the tree, and then back into the hole. So that's a good bowline knot, and I don't want it to pull out, so I'll tie another little backup knot like that. So now I've got my paracord is tied off to the end of this loop, and then I'll show you how we kind of do the canopy hitch. Let me just set the camera back over here. Bear with me, guys. I'm self-filming here. This isn't the best production video, but hopefully you guys will find it helpful. All right, so now that I've got hold on. Alright, so now that I've got this this loop in the end here, what you got to do a canopy hitch, you're going to have to take the other end of your rope and run it through this loop and pull it up. Okay, so I got the other end of my rope. I'm going to run it through here, pull it all the way through. Alright, so I've got it all the way through. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. My Alpine butterfly that I have at the end of here where I'm looped through, it's going to pull all the way up and it's going to girth hitch that limb that I have there. You set it right nice and tight, pull it nice and tight. Now I'll have my main line and my paracord going up. Like I said before, I can use my main line to pull up my pack because my pack's heavier. It's a little easier on my hands when I'm drawing it up with the heavier rope in my hands. I would tie my bow to the paracord and I'd pull all this stuff up into the tree, store it in my pack while I'm hunting, and then when I want to come out, climb back down, I lower everything down, come back down, and then now I'm back at the base of the tree. I want to pull my line out. If I didn't put this paracord loop, I'd be in trouble, right? I can't, it's tied up high, there's no way for me to get it out, but what I can do is now with the paracord, I just simply pull it back out. So that's how you do it with the paracord. Another thing you can do is if you have a long enough line, which is one of the reasons we carry 75 feet all the time. What you could do, so let me take this knot out. I could do another Alpine butterfly, but what I can do is I can do it midline in the line. And instead of using, let's say you forgot your paracord, but you have your 75 feet of rope. What you can do is something like this. So now you got to make sure you have enough rope in the tree so that you can climb on it. And this is the cool thing about using an Alpine butterfly. When you do the Alpine butterfly, you can do it mid-line, not on the end of the line. So I'm going to tie another Alpine butterfly in my hand, just like I did before. I'm going to wrap it 1, 2, 3 around my hand. Just tie it real quick here. So now I got this Alpine butterfly here. Now it's midline, okay? It's not on the end like I had it before. So I'll take the other end of the line. I've got this midline on this, let's say I'm going up over the limb, so on this right side of the limb here, I've got it here. The other side of the rope, I want to pull through it. Okay, so now I've got this. I'm going to pull this Alpine butterfly up into the tree. And now I have two ends of the rope. One side, if I pull down, I can climb on this side. This side, on this side is my Alpine butterfly. On this side is my climbing side. So I can climb up into the tree. Now I have two ends of the rope. Okay, if I forgot my paracord, I could just go with this, tie my, same thing again, pull my pack up with one, the other one I can pull up with my my bow, bow and a pack on either one, but one side's the working end, the side that I'm hanging into the tree with. Now, when I come back down, okay, it's when you climb back down out of the tree, you can take this side of the rope and just pull your Alpine butterfly back down and pull it back out. So that's another way to do it. It's kind of a cool, a cool thing. So hopefully that explains it. I did the best I could. There's a lot of other good resources out there on arborist techniques, things that guys are doing. And I would suggest you guys look into that. Like I said, I'm not an arborist instructor or anything like that. I'm learning myself, and I've learned some of these techniques, and these are the things I'm doing. So I'm showing you guys for informational purposes. Definitely, look into maybe. I always suggest that people seek some professional training and formal training. It's always good. I have the benefit of working, hunting and learning from Scott, who's got 35 years doing this stuff. So, all this stuff is stuff that he's taught me. So, just wanted to share it with you. All right. So, hopefully that answers some questions. If you guys have any questions, post them in the comment section. Try to do the best we can to answer them. And that's about it. So, all right. So, climb safe and best of luck.